What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm K40. We're going to be packing in 4 decks today because we have a YCS approaching this weekend. We're trying to cover as much as we can for everybody. So the first list we're going to be looking at is the 11th place Salem, Oregon Madolche deck profile. So sent in to me from YouTube. Thank you for submitting this. I don't know what else to really say here. Madolche, you got ratios to pick with. He did not have the third copy of Extravagance. He did talk about wanting to play that over Raigeki. That's one quick, easy note to go for. But Madolche it still proves that it's a deck that you can play this format and get your invite with, and you're not going to have any problem doing so. I honestly think that that's fabulous, honestly. So anyway, let's talk about the deck here, what's going on here. So we have 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, which is actually really, really fucking standard. 2 copies of Yugioh Prankatops, 2 copies of Effect Failure, and then we have 2 copies of Phantasme, which all of these are pretty much for what you want to go for. 2 copies of Gamma Seal. Putting this on top of something that's threatening you, that you can just return it back with the shuffle, is actually really, really okay. Then we have triple copies of Angeli, which honestly, yeah, looking at these ratios, they're pretty much on point. We have triple copies of Hoot Cake, 1 copy of the Mageline. I'm actually intrigued by that, but that's interesting. We have 2 copies of Messengelato, and then we have 2 copies of Pudding Soucior, and then 1 copy of Pudding Cess. Spells here, we have triple copies of Called by the Grave, 2 copies of Chateau, and 1 copy of Ticket. We've seen Chateau ratios between 1 to 2. You're not playing 3 anymore. No. We play 1 copy of Ticket, 1 copy of Monster Reborn, triple copies of MST, 2 copies of Pot of Extravagance, and then triple evenly, triple Imperm. The extra deck on here with triple copies of Fresh to Start, 1 Phoenix, triple copies of The Glass Flue, triple copies of Queen Tiramisu, triple Shakalala Mode, 1 Levier, and 1 copy Gaga Cowboy. And then we have 2 Lancia, 1 Ash, 1 Prankatops, 1 Jizukuru, 1 Kumamungus, 2 copies of Kaiju Slumber, 1 Raigeki, 2 Twin Twister, triple copies of Red Reboot, and 1 copy of Solemn Judgment, wrapping up the Oregon list. Congratulations, sir, on your 11th place. It's a very fresh invite, and that's really good, actually. Now, moving on along, we have more Orcust shenanigans for everybody, and this is actually a pretty big spin on the deck. We're playing Spiral Super Agent as like a special summon that you can have access to, which is actually really good. And then, of course, there's just a lot of interesting things that you can do in Orcust now and just be successful with. I don't know more to really say, but this is Warrior Orcust, pretty standardized for what we're going for in today's metagame. Just Orca shenanigans, Isolde, .go. So we have 1 copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, 1 copy of Mermere, triple copies of Destrudo, 1 copy of Orcust Nightmare, 1 copy of the Amorphage Sloth, 2 copies of Malicious, 1 Super Agent, 1 copy of Dark Gruffer, 1 Harpor, 1 copy of Armageddon Knight, triple copies of Vision Hero Vion, triple copies of Neo Space Connector, triple copies of Blue Mountain Butterspy, 1 Symbol Skeleton, triple copies of Drunk Forward, 1 Ancient Cloak, 1 Aqua Dolphin, 1 Silent Boots, triple Ash Blossom. Spells here, we have 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Foolish Bro, triple Called by the Grave, triple copies of Twin Twister, 1 copy of DDR, 1 Phoenix Blade, 1 copy of the Living Fossil, 1 Overdone Burial, 1 Alpha Duder, 1 copy of Orchestrated Babel, 1 Shade Brigading, 2 copies of Fogblade, and 1 copy of Crescenado. Down here in the extra deck, the old LP, along with Mermaid, Cerberus, and the Heretic Seal, 1 copy of the Isolde, 2 copies of Galtea, 1 Phoenix, 1 Rusty, 1 Unicorn, 1 Triple Burst, 1 Boral Sword, 1 Time Thief Redoer, 1 Dingrusu, 1 copy of Yazi. Side deck here we have 1 Radiant, triple copies of Prankatops, triple copies of Lancia, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 1 copy of Magical Midfield Breaker, 2 copies of Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Red Reboot, wrapping this up. So, pretty interesting. Orcust, this concept that this deck is doing, also the fact that you can also cheese your opponent here by bringing out the Sloth from your deck off of like destroying into something dumb. It's super cheeky. Plus, you also have access to Mermere in this deck. Thank you, player base. You're coming up with some interesting stuff. All right, moving on along. We have another Orcust list. This one was sent to me via email as well. I believe that this was either Thomas. I believe this was Thomas Sparling's list that was sent in. And then we also have a Justin Medina list as well. Things kind of got a little bit mixed up here, but this was actually really interesting because he was talking about how he was playing the Trickstar Nightshade and Mandrake to kind of speed up things. So if this card sends the graveyard as link material for the summon of a Trickstar monster, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So basically you have this and Mandrake. If this card's sent from the hand to the graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. If this card was sent to the graveyard as a link material, the summon of a Trickstar monster, you can target one monster and a link monster points to and destroy it. So basically you're able to one card do Nightshade, step up into Bloom, and get more access to some more interesting stuff, which I'm intrigued by this combo. I like where we were trying to go with this, and it definitely looks like it worked out. So we have one copy of the World 1, triple copies of Nessie, we have 2 copies of the Orcust Nightmare, triple copies of Connector, triple copies of Mothman, 2 copies of Chupacabra, 2 copies of Harpor, triple copies of Jackalope, 2 copies of the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots. Then we have 2 copies of Signbull Skeleton, 1 Ancient Cloak, 1 Aqua Dolphin, 1 Mandrake, 1 Nightshade, 1 Babel, triple copies of Light Stage, triple Called by the Grave. Then we have triple Crescenado, 2 Fogblade, and 1 copy of Shade. You know, for this deck getting top 8 in Philly, though, this is pretty interesting. Like, I like crazy cool concepts like this. The extra deck, we have 1 Topological Bomber Dragon, 1 Crusadia Avermax, 1 Borlode, 1 Rusty, 1 Longrisu, 2 copies of Galtea. We have 1 copy of Phoenix, 1 Cerberus, 1 Mermaid, 1 copy of Bloom, 1 Phantom Knights of Breaksword, 1 copy of Time Thief Redoer, and 2 copies of Dingrisu. Side deck here we have triple copies of Dino Wrestler, 2 copies of Ash Blossom, triple copies of Effect Veiler, 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird, 2 copies of DD Crow, and then we have triple copies of Twin Twister wrapping up this list. But, for all intents and purposes, though, not bad, Thomas. I'm very happy to see that this did really well for you. Congratulations, sir. And last but not least, we have more love for Dinosaurs. And I will say, Dinosaurs being the deck that they are, constantly evolving and things like that, it's cool to see where things are going with this. So this is another take on Dinosaurs, actually. So we have triple copies of ye old Baby Ceratosaurus, 1 Prankatops, 1 Giant Rex, 1 Draculeo, triple Miscellaneous Ceratosaurus, 1 Overtex Kultos, 2 copies of Pterodon, triple copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor, triple copies of Agnizod, 2 copies of the Tyranno, 2 copies of the Guard Dragon, and 1 copy of the World Legacy Guard Dragon Mondarch. And then we have triple copies of Called by the Grave, 2 copies of Double Evolution Pill, triple Dragonic Diagram, triple copies of Fossil Dig, 1 copy of Lost World, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Set Rotation, 2 Terraforming, 2 copies of Twin Twister, 1 copy of World Legacy Guard Dragon, and 1 copy of World Legacy Succession. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Triple Burst Dragon, 1 Reproducus, 1 Heavenly Spheres, 1 Pisty, 1 Elpie, 1 Bring the Pain, 1 Beat Cop, 1 copy of True King of All Calamities, 1 Interblafnir, 1 Logia, 1 Dolkers, 1 Trishula, 1 Naturia Beast, 1 Ib, and 1 copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Side deck here we have triple Ansia, 1 copy of Prankatops, 1 Doggoman, 1 Naturia Barkion, 1 Twin Twister, 2 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance, 1 Imperial Order, triple copies of Red Reboot, 1 copy of Gaga Cowboy, and 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. Wrapping up this list. Between all of these lists and all of the innovations and stuff that are still leading up to the development of the format here, things are pretty interesting. Once again, Orcust just goes in anything, and it's really cool to see that Dinosaurs are also getting that chance to evolve because they've been so locked up for so long, like oppressed because of this not being around. It's kind of cool to see just what little evolutions we can do. I mean, to be honest, True King of All Calamities is a very oppressive card, and there's not really much we can do about that, but adjust, trying out new things, see where the format's going. That is honestly where we're going in this format. So guys, please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think about these decks. I'd like to hear your guys' comments, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out, guys. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vancol40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.